Hi, I'm Heidi Dulabon. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to answer some of the burning questions you've asked about afternoon tea. I've done a lot of videos about afternoon tea, but I keep getting all these great questions, so today let's answer them. Someone asked, I was doing some reading and saw recommendations on blooming tea leaves in the pot from back in the day. Okay, that's a really great question, and I think it works beautifully when you do that with a French press making coffee. Check out my video on that. Okay, but however, for tea leaves, I do not recommend blooming them. No, but I do love what you're talking about, warming the pot. So blooming the tea leaves, are you talking green or white tea leaves? They're super delicate and need a very, not nearly boiling water, so be very mindful of that. But if you're talking about black tea, which I have here today, it can handle higher heat, but I still do not think it needs to bloom. I would not bloom them, but I would let them just steep in the pot. Another question is, do I brew a tea on my table when all the guests are sitting, or should the teapot be brought to the table with tea leaves and water already poured in, and then we all just wait those 4 minutes? Let's just talk about an electric kettle. I highly recommend them because many of them you can set the exact temperature depending on the tea you are serving. So what do? I will boil the water in the kitchen, and here is a tip. You first boil water, and then you would put it into the boiling water into your teapot. Swirl it around a couple of times to heat up the teapot, then pour that water out. Okay, then boil more water. Your teapot has gotten nice and hot, it's porcelain. Then you would pour the water into your teapot, and before you do this, measure. You should know how many cups your teapot holds. I know that this teapot is about 3 cups, and I do this all in the kitchen because it can get a bit messy and you don't want to be doing this in front of your guests. Do you need a special spoon? No, they do make them, and if you'd like to have one, go for it. I just use a teaspoon. Here's the formula. 1 rounded teaspoon per cup. So my little teapot here is 3 cups, so that's 1, 2, and here we go, 3 rounded. And then always, regardless of the size of your teapot, 1 more for the pot. Okay, then it's perfect. All right, so that would be 4 total for me. Then I put my lid on, it is brewing, and then I will carry this to the table, and the guests sit down, and by the time I get there, about 4 minutes has passed. Play with that a little bit. You may like it at 4 minutes, you may like to brew your tea 5 minutes or longer. 4 minutes is a good rule of thumb. Hope that helps. So we have another question, and someone asks, I'm hosting an afternoon tea this weekend at my home for a few friends, and I'm gathering the china, silverware, food, and tea together. Is only one kind of tea served, or can I offer 2 different kinds? Okay, that's a terrific question. Thank you very much for asking that. Because the answer is you can serve as many kinds of tea as you have teapots. But I think 2 or 3 types of tea is perfect, and here's why. Every time I've hosted an afternoon tea, someone just does not want caffeine that day. So it's really great to have an herbal tea. Okay, is herbal tea really tea? That's another question. But have something like a chamomile or a fruit tea for anyone who said, I need something without caffeine. And then it is kind of fun to have maybe an Earl Grey and then an English breakfast tea, or maybe you want to get into the more exotics of green tea or that super delicate white tea. Great question, thank you. All right, here's someone asked, I'm interested in practicing what I've learned. Any suggestions for a nice afternoon tea in New York City? I'll be visiting there soon. Oh, lucky you. So many different teas are offered in New York, but I think if you are on a limited time, look for the 5-star hotels. Most of them offer a fantastic, proper afternoon tea. Remember, it's afternoon tea, not high tea. Look for the Plaza, look for the Peninsula Hotel. You cannot go wrong. The afternoon tea will be superb. Here's a great question. I'm commonly asked this. I wonder if you're finished with the first course, but the others are still eating. Do you wait for them? And if so, who takes the initiative to move on to the second course? Okay, so great question. So the answer is yes, really you should wait. Everybody should enjoy the same course at the same time, and the host dictates when it's time to move on. So you know it's sandwiches, then the scones or scones, and then the little cakes. Someone asks, if one were to drink tea with lemons, is it dropped into the cup or squeezed? All right, so let's just pour a cup of tea here. We have loose tea, so we use our tea strainer. For our cup of tea, let's just say I would like some sugar and lemon. Put the sugar in first so it will dissolve. If you put the lemon in first with the citric acid, the sugar will not dissolve. So you'll have little sugar tongs, and do you just drop it and plunk it in and then it spills, splashes all over? No, no. You just put the sugar cube on the very side of the teacup and let it slide in. Voila. Very elegant, right? Okay, and now, you know, I would love a little bit of lemon with that. Usually at afternoon teas, someone has very artfully sliced a lemon, and you just plunk that in. No, it's the same. My sugar has dissolved, and I just simply put it on the side and it will float into the cup. So no plunking and splashing, just very delicate moves using the side of your cup. And here's just another little tip when it comes to adding lemon to tea. If you're going to add milk, never add lemon. It will curdle the tea. So lemon and milk, they do not go together. So just remember that. Lemon and sugar, great. Sugar in first. Someone asks, how do you feel about using Tealight warmers? I'm not a fan. I have seen little teapots that you can buy that sit on top of a little vessel with the tea light underneath it. It's meant to keep the tea warm. I think it burns the tea, and usually the pots are so small and you're drinking them quickly enough that it does not go cold. I don't think it's necessary, and it's going to burn your tea, so I would just skip that. Here is a terrific question. How do I discard tea leaves from the strainer in case I have it full during the ceremony or the afternoon tea? I'm having 9 people all together, so the strainer might get clotted, or should I have an additional strainer? Okay, well, great question, and here's the answer. Everyone has their own strainer. Yes, you can buy these just little tea strainers, and they come like this, and the little bottom holds the strainer. So what you do is you take the top part off, the bottom sits on the table, you place the strainer across your cup, and then you pour your tea in, and the strainer catches the tea leaves. Shake it off, you don't want any drips, and it goes back into its little container, its little home, the base. Each individual tea strainer is never going to get too full during the course of a typical afternoon tea, so invest in individual tea strainers. Great question. Thank you for that one. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it answered these questions. Please keep them coming. Afternoon tea, one of my very favorite subjects. Please like and subscribe, and as always, be kind. Thank you.